If there was one thing that you could have people experience with your game, perhaps in the same way that you did with Elite, what would it be?
It's tough. That you're having your own, you're telling your own story. You know, that it's so vast that it's just obvious to you that no one could possibly be doing what you're doing.
The universe of No Man's Sky is incredibly vast, unfathomably so, dwarfing even the scale of games like EVE Online. Today on The Next Big Game, we analyse how the scale of No Man's Sky has the possibility to give us a gaming experience we've never had before.
Well, I played the original Elite quite obsessively. My dad basically he worked for an electronics company and he had a PC, which was like amazing in those days, like green screen and stuff. and he was obsessed with it as well, and he had all these amazing save games, and so yeah, it was just one of the most kind of amazing kind of experiences.
I think when I was thinking about the game, you know, which I have since, like, embarrassingly since I've been a kid, kind of thing, thinking about this type of game, you know, it was exactly that, like, these worlds and experiences that you read about in sci-fi, you could never visit those worlds, right? You could never escape to them, you could never see what it would be like or whatever, and you never will be able to, right? And it's something that a book can kind of deliver and fire your imagination, but it's not the same as like that feeling of actually walking around, something that no one else has discovered, some place that no one else has been to. And that's a real kick. And a film can't deliver that, a book can't deliver that, but a game can. And they don't generally. The thing that we're doing a lot with games is they're really prescribed and they're really heavily designed and they're corridor-led and things like that. And so you never get that feeling. But the one thing I would like No Man's Sky to be able to do is deliver that feeling of, you know, I have landed on a planet and no one else has ever been here, and I'm seeing something that no one else has seen. And there are moments when I'm playing the game now, when I was flying around the universe as it is at the moment, searching for a place to stage the demo, you know, that you get that feeling and you're just like, you know, discovering something, like, guys, have a look.
No Man's Sky's universe is assembled by a vast array of math and procedural generation systems, which the team at Hello Games had spent the best part of a year putting together. The universe is constant, it's the same for everyone, but what's hidden on each planet is a mystery, even to the developers.
The planets and fauna, and especially the colour palette, is just stunning.
Yeah.
How do you do that with a procedural system that is possibly picking all this stuff at random?
It's quite tricky. A lot of what we are actually doing is kind of trying to control this procedural system. So because it can do so much, it can, you know, it's doing all these effectively infinite, you know, variations of things, and we are obviously doing that will produce some really, really terrible looking environments and terrible looking, you know, color combinations and things. So Sean's created these robots, which can, not real robots, but, you know, simulated robots, which can fly down to each planet and they record like a little animated GIF. And what we end up with is just a page of thumbnails.
Do you say you've got animated GIF robot drones?
It flies down to a planet and records, yeah, a little fly through. So
that's insane.
And for a human being to do that, it would take ages. So we just, it's a really nice way of us being able to view a crazy amount of visual data without having to do it manually.
This procedural system allows the team to create infinite permutations of flora, fauna, spaceships and planets. Systems that are connected. The chemicals that exist in a planet's air define the colour of its atmosphere. The amount of water changes the way in which land is formed, where beaches are. It's an entirely new way to build virtual worlds.
Part of why we don't say as well, it's exactly this and there will be this many creatures or ships, is because, you know, and I've shown you bits of this, those limits don't apply actually, right? And so we don't have to work to those. We're not restrained by content anymore, which is really freeing. But also part of it is like, we want people to explore. We don't want, so many people have asked us like, how many levels can you upgrade your weapon and stuff like that? And it's like, let's not tell people that. Let's people discover that, you know what I mean? And kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
Like my favorite thing in, like Minecraft isn't like a big reference point for us or anything like that, but it has some parts that I just really admire. Like Minecraft never told you what the formulas were for crafting things. And I don't think I ever would have done that as a designer, right? It was a bold move, but it's so cool, you know? It's just so nice for a game to just go figure it out, because that's the games that I grew up with as a kid. You know, you would just load a game into your like Commodore 64, your Amstrad or whatever, and you would have to press all the buttons to figure out, like you'd press everything on the keyboard to figure out what the things did, you know what I mean? And I like that, and people are cleverer than what games designers think.
If I was to take one thing away from this project, from seeing the game in action, from talking to the guys at E3, it's that wonder is really important to them. In creating a universe where people might not meet each other, where planets may go uncovered forever, they are creating something that hasn't really ever existed in games. A world that most games pretend to make. A game without boundaries. Hello Games aren't interested in spilling the beans on this game or talking about specific mechanics or features. They want to retain its sense of wonder so that we can all enjoy it at launch, and I think that's pretty brave of them. Thank you for spending time with us here on our wonderful alien forest, but the next big game, No Man's Sky, isn't over just yet. Tomorrow, Cameron Robinson sits down with Sean Murray to talk about building procedural universes and shows off the dev tools that built every tree, creature, planet and ship in No Man's Sky.